glad to introduce you to Her Music, hashtag Her Music, an IPRS initiative in association with Dolby India and Artist Aloud, aimed to boost the representation of women in music in India. The music industry in India is expanding with all its glory, but we are yet to see a truly balanced environment in terms of gender. On Women's Day 2021 or 2021, IPRS launched the Her Music campaign to trigger a conversation about what needs to change and what needs to happen to bring about the change. As part of the initiative, we are glad to introduce our series hashtag Celebrate Her Music. The session would highlight the journey of successful female creators who have made it big in the industry and amid all the challenges they had to face. We are sure that the insights from the session will inspire and enlighten many, paving the path towards a great future for women in music in India. In our today's session, we are glad to have with us singer and songwriter Aabha Hanjura. Welcome, Aabha.
Hi, sir. Such a pleasure to be with you. I'm such a fan of your music, and I'm so honored that we are doing this together. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you. That's a mutual admiration club here. I've been watching you on the videos and everything. Lovely, lovely music here. Lovely music and so
Thank you so much, sir.
So much from the heart.
Thank you.
So tell me about with the Kashmiri, all that thing. I've had some friends. My school friend Rajesh Kapoor. उनके घर पे मैं ये language सुनता था पूरा. And in fact, their cousin is Ashok Pandit and his son Raj Pandit. So like I've been into it. मैं जब भी सुना था, I felt more closer to it because I've heard the language so much, yeah. And yeah, so I was totally immediately connected to it because I've कान में वो language पढ़ चुकी है पूरा. So you tell me one thing, how is it in your family? Anybody else is there into music, and how did you get to singing as a career?
Professionally, there is nobody else who does music in my family besides me. But my mom is a classically trained singer, so she did learn under Shabunath Sopuri Sab in Kashmir, and she sort of did pursue her music, of course, because of many reasons. Exodus also happened in the 90s. I was very small when we came from Kashmir to Jammu, and कहीं उन्होंने मेरा talent spot किया, and she groomed me a little at home. पुराने लता जी के गाने सुना के सिखा के और कि तुम पहले ये सुनो, ये सीखो और ये गाओ के सुनाओ वापस. And she wanted to see कि मैं seriously चाहती भी हूँ ये करना या फिर क्या है. मतलब so she kind of gave me one small regimen. Kid way of like, ye aaj karo, ye kal karo, sort of a thing. Then when she saw that there is some kind of an interest and I am also being little persistent, so she put me on for classical training. So I have trained classically for some time. Then my Guruji passed on, and I sort of, with his death, I kind of lost interest in learning music because of course I was also just entering then teenage, and other things happened, and I was like, my school wasn't the same, the music school, so my training stopped there, and then I did my training with Nisia Majoli in Bangalore, who's a professional vocal coach. I actually studied Western pop under her because I wanted to learn something different from Hindustani classical. So that was really beautiful. So yeah, that's the nobody professionally, but yeah, my mom sings.
So, मतलब अगर म्यूजिक की तरफ नहीं आया तो फिर what are your plans?
So actually, I went ahead and did also some other plans because after Indian Idol, which was my first, time when I got some validation for myself as an artist also. I was almost pushed to go for that show by my brother, but once you're selected from lakhs of people, and like you sort of land up in the last few finalists, and it makes you feel like that there is something there. So I was more validated for my talent, and I also got some fame at a very young age of 17, 18. I turned 18 on 89. So it was very new, सब अलग नया था, बहुत ही fresh था उस समय. But the industry was very different, and I think I was meant to be an indie artist. और उस समय वो स्पेस नहीं था इंडिपेंडेंट म्यूजिक के लिए सो मच हमारे देश में हमारे लोगों के पास. So I went on to have a corporate career for a while, and I was very good also at what I used to do. I was in the media. अच्छा चल रहा था, पैसे भी बहुत अच्छे थे. And then it was like I was on to. I grew very quickly as a young, professional. My colleagues were very supportive. But kuch to missing tha, sir, and I was seeking inspiration. I wanted to find my purpose, and I think at that time music slowly crawled back into my life. And I was in Bangalore, and Bangalore is the hub for indie musicians. Lots
Yeah,
of
right.
homegrown bands. I found a lot of collaborators, amazing musicians who kind of saw some kind of who showed faith in my vision. So I was pushed, and it was all very raw, and kind of grown from the ground up over here with and I used to enjoy that stuff, playing to a club where people are only coming to listen to the music, they're not interested in anything else. So Bangalore had that, like, amazing venues, independent artists and independent bands, lots of them. So I kind of got a lot of I think I was glad that I found my people here, so it kind of worked out beautifully.
Great, great,
Yeah.
great. So you were sure about getting into this career once you knew. It seems like आप जो मुझे बता रहे थे अभी के you were quite clear कि मुझे ये करना है, and you were heading towards that only, or you had
Yeah, sir.
to give up something कि मैं ये try करके देखती हूँ, or you were quite head on sure.
No, sir, I was very sure. My media career was very successful. The only thing I had to think a lot about giving up was that because that was a lot of money and it was something that I had also built with a lot of love. And I grew very quickly and I was doing well. But then I knew that my ultimate path in life is not this. So वो मुझे मालूम था कि मैं म्यूजिक करूंगी तो बहुत चैलेंजेस आएंगे. सडनली आप एक खुशी जॉब छोड़ रहे हो, यू आर लीविंग स्टेबिलिटी, यू आर लीविंग द आर्टिस्ट लाइफ कम्स विद इट्स ओन ups and downs na sir. We have great days, we have terrible days. So I was not used to the terrible days, I was used to good days and just like सब चल रहा है. So for me that was a big decision, and but when I knew that, so for a while I also juggled them together. I used to work and I used to also do this, and that trained me physically a lot. मतलब मैं सुबह उठती थी, फिर ऑफिस जाती थी, फिर वो खत्म करती थी, फिर बैंड रिहर्सल करती थी. बहुत दूर था मेरा. We couldn't afford studios, so I used to rehearse in a band drama's house, and I used to drive up and down Bangalore city to do all of that. Be home by 2 o'clock in the night, wake up again, repeat this. I did this for 3-4 years. It was a lot. Then I knew that it's time that I have to. Bandwidth nahi tha, and things were also. I was sure that I wanted to do this music, and the purpose was very strong because I felt very connected to the kind of music I was doing. With the Sound of Kashmir, my first album, I was paying tribute to my own land, so it was beautiful. And all the other music that I'm planning to do now, it's all, it's all the stories that I've always wanted to tell. So I think it's a natural choice.
So मतलब internally in your heart you were sure कि यही करना है and you headed towards it, right? One day you had to take that decision
Yeah,
and
yes, sir. I
walk
was,
that path,
yes,
है
I
ना?
was very sure. I was very sure.
And how was the support system from home to do this?
Sir, actually, everybody supported me a lot, that too I can say, but I feel like support, I said this the other day also to somebody, support to sir, अपने आप को बहुत करना पड़ता है artist को. You have to show up for yourself, I feel, continuously. A lot of people also cannot support the person who doesn't support themselves.
Yeah,
Like,
that
how
for
do
sure.
they know how seriously are you really into it? How do they know will you not give up 5 days later and say, यार ये तो मुझे try करना था, अब नहीं हो रहा मुझसे. How do you know? So, but I was I think I'm very lucky to be surrounded by people who became the wind beneath my wings. My brother is a huge supporter. My husband's a huge supporter. My family, they were all there, around, cheering me on when I was doing well and also telling me on my face when it was not good enough. So that support is good, but I feel like एक artist को खुद के लिए बहुत support की जरूरत होती है अंदर से. You have to develop another person inside you who will get up and tell you that, dude, you can't give up. You get up else the next day you will do this. So
Yeah.
I think I have, I'm lucky I have had support system. Because I was also much older sir by then, so nobody can't tell you कि अच्छा अब आप ये वो बच्चे नहीं थे ना अभी वो 17 साल 18 साल के कि अभी मम्मी कह रही है नहीं करना तो भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. So I was like, I also grown up and I took my own decision. My mom told this to my brother told my mom that Abha is going to quit her job and she's starting a band. So my mom was like, "Acha, so ye band is the people where they have long hair and you know they're playing guitar very loudly. She wants to do that." So
बैंड बज गई.
and she only told me this very recently. She didn't even tell me कि उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ बोला था. So I said, हाँ, something like that she's going to do. Then cut to she came to a show which was in a very shady club and my guitar player was had long hair and he was banging and we were like, okay, this is happening. And then she saw others who were dancing and very happy. So she's like, something is right over here. So yeah, I guess it's like you know a mixed bag that way. So support is there, but you have to also support yourself a lot through this journey.
Chalo. Okay, so you've had a good support system from home, especially your
Yeah,
brother,
sir.
I guess, every time,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So my brother, my husband, they're all, they're all there when I need to, go and do my thing, and they, that way for sure. I'm very lucky to have a great support system. Yeah.
Great. That's especially in this line. I mean, being a female and having that support is a blessing, right? I
Yeah, sir.
think
Absolutely.
lots of people now, अभी तो पूरा time change हो गया सबको फिर भी support करते हैं parents, they understand everything. But there have been times where नहीं, this can't be done, तो वो एक
ये
बीच
मत करो
में
कुछ और करो.
फ्रिक्शन आ जाता है कि करना चाहते हैं लेकिन नहीं. और कितने आई मीट सो मेनी पीपल जिनको गाने का शौक था, दे वांटेड टू डू दिस बट लाइफ में किया नहीं, दे फॉलोड ऑन विद व्हाट वाज सपोज्ड टू बी डन इन द फैमिली बिजनेस ऑल दैट, बट उनके मन में चीजें रह जाती हैं कि मैं ये करना चाहती थी, वैसे.
I
So we are
know.
lucky.
Yeah, sir.
है ना?
Absolutely. जी.
Okay, so okay, Kashmiri folk is not as popular. ये कैसे आपने किया कि मैं अपने गाने फिर भी उस जोन में ही रखते हुए करूंगी, you wanted to stick to your earthiness, everything. How did that come to you?
सब मुझे एक्चुअली इंस्पिरेशन बहुत सीख कर रही थी एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. दिस इज द टाइम वेयर आई वाज इन माय जॉब एंड आई वाज न्यू कि कुछ तो मिसिंग है एंड आई नीड टू डू समथिंग एल्स. बट वो समथिंग क्या है आई वांटेड टू नो, क्योंकि इतना डिफिकल्ट पाथ होता है एक आर्टिस्ट का लाइफ. यू हैव टू नॉट मोटिवेटेड इनफ, पर्पस नहीं है तो फिसल सकते हो. सो आई वाज सीकिंग दैट पर्पस इन कश्मीर जहां से मैं हूँ, वेयर आई एम फ्रॉम.
हाँ,
वहां जाके आई वेंट फॉर अ विजिट एक्चुअली डैड के साथ, छोटी सी हॉलीडे पे. बट that whole trip changed a lot for me, sir, inside internally and out externally, because that हमारी हमारी हमारा जो लैंड है उसके अराउंड जो डायलॉग है वो बहुत नेगेटिव रहा है नैरेटिव्स में. सो मुझे भी वो एक सुनने को मिलता था एज अ कश्मीरी who grew up outside Kashmir and then went across India to meet different people, and people used to think about Kashmir or us in a very different light. So I used to feel that कि ये कुछ थोड़ा चुभता था, समझ में नहीं आता था, बट कुछ कभी किया नहीं इसके बारे में, just left it. And then went on for that trip and sort of saw a lot of people very closely, spent a lot of time with a lot of locals, understood, that this is like, everybody has their own share of pain and we've all gone through a lot. So I kind of was inspired to create music which will bring a smile or bring forth like a really positive dialogue. And people will talk about us and they'll talk about us in terms which are more beautiful, not just terrorism or tourism. It's also a lot more. So because हमारा culture बहुत rich है, so I wanted to showcase a part of that in my album. So Sound of Kashmir का idea वहाँ से आया. So सारे गाने, whether it's Hukkus Pukkus or Roshwala, Khan Mujhkoor, they are all related to the culture in one way or the other. Hukkus Pukkus is from children's lullabies to it also has a deep spiritual meaning with Lallet's poetry. Roshwala, Dilbaro Yugalo, those two songs are about the beauty in Kashmir, Bahar, spring, but also our story, which is Chalo Chinaro ke gharo, जो वापस अपने घर जाना चाहते हुए दूर हैं. खानमजकूर मेरा बहुत personal गाना है sir. It's a wedding विदाई song, so I recorded it just after my wedding. I was very very emotional those days, so it was all that I poured everything into the song. So everything is kind of Numbani as well. The fun, folky, bohoish song. So it's all the entire album soundscape was inspired from there. तो मैंने सोचा नहीं कि पॉपुलर नहीं है, मैंने बस ये सोचा कि मुझे करना है, होपफुली लोग सुनेंगे, जबकि पता था कि 0.001% लोगों को ये भाषा पता है. इट्स नॉट पंजाबी जो सबको आती है. इट्स लाइक nobody knows this language. But there were a lot of songs before Hukkus Bukkus that I did, and then Hukkus Bukkus थोड़ा सा somehow लोगों को समझ में आ गया and became viral, तो बाकी गानों पे लोगों की नजर आ गई. So that was, it just happened so. But I knew that this comes very naturally to me, and I enjoy singing it, so I just wanted to do this honestly. So that's how I picked up folk of Kashmir. I sing in Dogri, Punjabi, all these languages as well, but my first album is focused towards Kashmir.
But कैसे होता ना, you just get pulled back to your earthiness, अपनी मिट्टी. Just have, I mean, your one trip did that to you. Took it back to your, your
Yes.
earthy culture, full thing. And how कैसे एक चीज होती है कि आपको वो मैसेज मिलता है कि नहीं, this is what I want to do, and you feel more confirmed about कि नहीं, this is what I enjoy, this is in me. So it just, see, life pulled you back into from your culture whole thing and got you back to put that culture out again.
We just become एक जरिया बोलते हैं, ऐसा जरिया हो जाता है, और एक होना जो होता है वो हो जाता है, जरिया बन जाते हैं. मुझे कभी कभी लगता है कि मैं जरिया बन गई इसके लिए. फिर बहुत लोगों ने फिर म्यूजिक की कश्मीरी फिर से करना शुरू किया, एंड बहुत सारे आर्टिस्ट इतना अच्छा म्यूजिक अब कर रहे हैं, अभी भी कर रहे हैं. एंड आई फील लाइक इट्स सो ब्यूटीफुल सर. अल्टीमेटली इट्स गोइंग टू पुट फोकस ऑन द लैंग्वेज. लोग क्योंकि फेस्टिवल्स वगैरह में भी मैं जाती हूँ तो आई यूज्ड टू लिसन कि ये लैंग्वेज ही बहुत ही काफी अंडर रिप्रेजेंटेड है. मतलब फोक इंसान सोचता है तो लोग पीपल थिंक राजस्थानी और पंजाबी, और राजस्थानी तो बहुत ज्यादा है. So this is also a beautiful language of our country. It should just be, heard more in the mainstream. I feel it'll be.
और अपनी है, अपनी लैंग्वेज है, तो why not?
हाँ जी.
Yeah. So then, did you think कि इसको मैं modernize करूँ, नहीं करूँ, या was there a thought put into that?
हाँ sir, actually I was so sure कि I wanted to do it my way, because I wanted to enjoy the whole process of doing this music, and I wanted to bring myself into all the songs. See, every song that I've taken, while it's so rooted into folk, but I wanted it had to become my song. So if you listen to Khan Mojpur, I know कि जब भी लोग उसको सुनेंगे वो मेरे पर्सपेक्टिव से उसको मैंने रिकम्पोज भी किया है गाने को, तो they should listen to it from my perspective. That way lots of folk, even if you listen to American folk for that matter, it gets passed down different artists and they all do their own thing to it. And suddenly one day you'll be listening to a song and you'll be like, oh my god, this is this artist's song. You don't think कि, so that's the beauty with folk, right? You can really make it your own, and I wanted to do that. But I knew I didn't overthink the modernization so much in the beginning. But then I got some lot of love and lot of brickbats. It kind of, because it was a combination. जो होता ही है ना sir. I mean, you do something new, so people will equal amounts में.
Few people will,
Yeah, so I didn't realize that's a part of the bargain. So I try to like not even now listen to कौन क्या बोल रहा है. I just try to make music for my own self. किसी को अच्छा लगे तो good.
जब सब अच्छा बोलते हैं तब तो हमको अच्छा लगता है कि हाँ, we are on the right path. But जब अपने फैमिली और अपने वाले जब बोलते हैं ना कि it's okay or something like this, for a moment it's a jolt and you go inside and sit down. Ke, am I on the right track? And then you have to take a call. Nahi, this is what I want to do. I'm quite sure about it. तो एक वो हो जाता. So you've got a good support system actually, है ना? So but
Yeah.
जब marriage हुई तो did you have a scare in your head के आगे मैं ये कर पाऊंगी या नहीं? Other
नहीं, नहीं.
responsibilities coming in or something? नहीं?
No, sir, there was no scare because I mean, I married the guy who I loved. That's why we were very clear about our paths, and he's actually a big support in my career as well.
Okay.
Actually, I don't understand his support क्यों होना चाहिए actually women. See, it's like career ना sir. आपका career है किसी और का career. It's like everybody has to do their own thing ना. So this is not something that should cross your mind if you really find the right person with whom this is not even a question. जैसे कोई कहता है ना कि फीमेल कॉमिक फीमेल आर्टिस्ट लाइक वी डोंट रियली ब्रिंग these labels into other artists, right? Why should we be carrying them? But at the same time, this is the reality of our industry. There are such few of us that we have to talk about us in as okay, this is a female artist, or this is this one. But in my mind and in my this one, it was never a question because and I think my husband also knew very clearly when we were getting married that this is her path. In fact, it takes a lot of guts to get married to an artist because we have such a crazy trajectory, right? It's like it's great days and then there are terrible days, and it's like
Ask
takes
me.
days. So I was sure I was not. So he's not an artist, which is a great thing. I'm too crazy to be at the same house.
लेकिन लेकिन जो आर्टिस्ट नहीं है वो तो बेचारे हो गए ना. They have to go through the tantrums.
I know, so he's not so, we have very different paths in life, but I understand his and he understands mine. But at the same time, for me, it was never a question. So once like when I quit my corporate job as well, then only I knew that this is going to be my path. So um, I haven't really thought of it, but at the same time, I know that as a woman, everything in life becomes just much more difficult for us. And now I realize that more because after having a child, because I had a baby recently, which was she's going to be 11 months old. And that whole process for me was so transforming because I feel like as a woman itself, there is so much that goes inside you once you procreate that, to kind of hold on to your own becomes very challenging. So for me, this last year has been a lot of learning, but I've realized that it's also a big superpower, according to me. Being a mom is a big superpower. You can really, once you do this, then you know that, yeah, baki sab cheezein like, chiller challenges.
For sure, for sure.
So and also a new realm opens up in your own mind. So I feel like that is the thing, for us as a woman, that's the difference. You're going to go through life if you choose to have children. It's going to be a full metamorphosis of you one more time. Will you be able to come out of it as one more butterfly after this whole thing happens, or will you be, will you take your time to kind of come into your own? So that's something that women grapple with, but at the same time, I feel like this is something that makes us stronger gender. It also makes us stronger artists. You know, people should understand that instead of like questioning that. अच्छा इसकी शादी हो गई अब तो ये seriously music नहीं करेगी. अच्छा अब उसका बच्चा हो गया तो maybe she's not even interested in her career. I'm telling you, I'm going for a show next week. So it's not you. You have
No,
to.
what I was trying to ask you was कि see you've got a good support system. Parents like जो करना चाहते थे करने दिया. Brother being a support. Now husband also is a support. But at some point when you take this transition into a new zone of life, next step in life, कहीं पे दिमाग में आया कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दूसरी हो जाएगी. डर था कि मैं इस पे ध्यान नहीं देके मेरी लाइफ चेंज हो जाएगी. एक फीलिंग रहती है.
नहीं सर, डर सिर्फ इसका होता है कि तुम खुद को कितना पकड़ पा. Like I said, coming out of this and holding on to your own, because it's the most for a woman. The reality is that childbirth, all of this is like physically, emotionally, it's a very it's very different from marriage and all of that, because this is a very new kind of responsibility you're taking on, and this is a completely new role you're taking on in your life, which you have to show up for. But it's not like that, I think it's not something that ever I feel can become a reason for this or that. How you have handled everything else in your life, you have to also, like, it's again a question of your commitment to your art, your craft, how much you love what you do, how much of a second nature is it to you. Like for me, I know this is who I am. For me, being an artist is who I am, and I'm never ever going to, I don't have any other way of being right now. I am also her mom. I am also an artist. I have also a responsibility to the artist that I am. I'm also have the responsibility to the mother that I am. So it's more challenging for me, for sure, than anyone else right now. But like I said, being a mom is a superpower as well. If I did that, like I pushed out a whole human out of my body, I think I can do other stuff.
या हम लोग ये गाने तो हर एक्सपीरियंस, लाइफ के हर एक्सपीरियंस पे गाने बन जाते हैं हमारे, है ना?
जी सर, बिल्कुल। इसने बहुत सिखाया सर, एक्सपीरियंस ने। बहुत कुछ मुश्किल हो जाएगा, बट यू हैव टू वर्क हार्डर, आई गेस। दैट्स द थिंग, women have to work harder, and that's the reality.
So 11 months, right? Your kid is 11 months, right?
Yeah, she's 11 months, sir.
You should do a Kashmiri Lori with his sound there and all that.
Yeah,
The kid
sir,
sound
I've
there
been
and
writing
all.
stories only now with her. So that's the thing, right, sir? Now again, like, so I can't switch off the artist in me, because I became a mom. It's not possible. So even through like atrocious pains when I used to go through initially, sleepless with her waking up. So because I have such a habit, or because I write constantly, I'm a songwriter, so I'm constantly writing or constantly recording. So it's a habit ki matlab I will, if I get an idea, I will pick up the phone and I will record it. So there have been so many times when she's sleeping or something happens, or it's middle of the night, I'm so sleepy, I have walked to my phone and I found it and I have recorded it. Some of it is so zombie that I don't even know what it means, if it's good or bad, but I have just done it. That's who I am.
That's how it happens. That's why I said, our other side of the partners have to go through a lot more than what we go through.
They do. 100%. That's what I'm saying. That's the reality, sir. So
Yeah,
find
we
yourself
got
the right
this, and we think we have some genius streak, so they have to tolerate that.
person. Yeah. I
ये
think that
म्यूजिक
is
में
every
हमारे पास
dad's
ये
husband is required for that.
so great, kid. So now tell me one thing. The digital world is quite cluttered with everybody's music there, all different genres of music, everything. आपने कैसे सोचा कि मैं जो कर रही हूँ, it's like zonal, this kind of a music I'm doing, cultural essence to it, attached to it. Music is music, of course, but still, you've got another angle to it. So how did you think कि मैं इसको कैसे audience तक पहुंचा पाऊंगी? Yeah. Or you didn't think anything and just did it? Well, was there a process of thinking how to reach it to people digitally and all that?
No, no, sir. I knew that what I'm doing is extremely niche, if you have to call it between niche and this. So पता था मुझे sir, शुरू से. So I knew that the music has to do the job. If it does, then things will be fine. If it doesn't, then then it won't. It's as simple as that. So like I said, sir, there was a lot of music that I did. I experimented a lot with different things, and until there was a breakthrough, like Hocus Pocus. So people kind of, the good thing is that the digital era is also like a double-edged sword. There's a lot of clutter, and then there's a lot of reach. So it's like that. If you do the music right, then people ultimately, I've seen it. Because that I didn't have to do a lot for the song, which actually flew on its own. So it's just a question of the music being right. But at the same time, there's also some basics that you have to educate yourself with, because you're in this world of digital. You have to know that social media is something that you cannot do without. So you have to work on that. You have to work on a lot of things. So I have also kind of, educated myself a lot on that, worked a lot with different kind of people, the right kind of partners, different times, who helped me, gain rather a good reach. But I feel like clutter is always going to be there, but this is also an opportunity to do the right kind of music so that your audience finds you. हर चीज के लिए audience है sir अभी. That is a good thing. Baki, you have to stick to your guns, I guess. This is which is the most of it.
So
The
मतलब
pressure is very high to do anything, but you have to know that you don't want to do that.
but abhi jaise, even at this stage, your songs have become popular, all that. Even earlier, your ab अपने फ्यूचर में जो म्यूजिक कर रहे हो या अभी जो कर रहे हो उसके फ्यूचर के बारे में सोचना पड़ता है कि इसको ऐसे करेंगे, प्लान करना पड़ता है, या यू लीव इट कि लेट्स डू इट यार, देखा जाएगा? हाउ, व्हाट इज द
सर
अप्रोच यू
एक्चुअली अब ऐसा नहीं है कि लीव इट एंड देखा जाएगा, पहले था which was a good time. अब इतना लीव इट नहीं है, बट एट द सेम टाइम ऐसा है कि मैं वही करती हूँ जो मैं करना चाहती हूँ. दैट इज वेरी क्लियर. सो आई डू ओनली द म्यूजिक that I genuinely love and believe in, and otherwise I won't. So that's something that is very important to me. And I kind of try to now at this juncture I want to do more, sir. So ultimately people have heard a lot of Kashmiri stuff from me, but I'm somebody who writes a lot of Hindi music. I also sing in Punjabi, sing in Dogri. I
Okay.
write a lot of music in different languages. I want to explore different sides of me, even sonically. So I'm very excited at this point to experiment a little bit more. Abhi, I'm in the middle of that dekhi jayegi, plus I also have to plan kind of a zone. So I'm taking a few risks at this point. I want to do that. This year, 2022 is about that for me. I want to go into different directions, try new things, because I don't want to get boxed as an artist and in one kind of. I feel like I have more to do, and since I'm largely an independent artist. Largely, I am an independent artist. I'm not on any label. It gives me the freedom to really be, and that's what I enjoy the most in this whole career. So I kind of want to try different things this year, and I will see where that will take me. I think that's something I'm excited about. So.
And how did this Hocus Pocus, which got featured in Family Man, this web series, how did that happen? They approached you because you own the music. You're not with the label, right? So they
No, sir.
approached
Yeah.
you.
Yes, sir. So they approached me, sir. So that's the thing. That's what I was saying. So the music does the job. Everything happens. So that's Kukus a classic example for that. The song was already viral, sir, before the Family Man guys discovered it, and they were making this series, and they reached out to me, and it was pretty straightforward. The production house directly reached out to me, and because it was not on the label and it was on my own label and my publishing, this one, they contacted me and I spoke with them, and I realized that it was a great opportunity for the song as well to get discovered more. It was also because it was placed in the right way also in the series. So that's also very important. Um, Besides Family Man, my music is also synced in. Hukus is also synced in this movie called No Fathers in Kashmir, which is a beautiful film. Everyone should watch it. So that's also, I am very proud of that association because the movie is really beautiful. So that also makes me feel great. Um, so yeah, it was pretty organic. So it was good. Till date, a lot of new people have discovered the song family. So that's a great thing.
So besides just releasing your music and it becoming popular, you always knew कि ये sync opportunities एक जगह है जो tap करनी चाहिए, या it just happened on its own and that's how you learned it?
No, sir, मुझे सिंह के बारे में पता था शुरू से. So I had some information on how to go about it. And at the point when this all came, then the lawyers kind of consulted on contracts and how to make it easy for everybody and fair for everyone, considering whatever was the situation. So I do realize and I feel like there's a huge opportunity in the sync market with respect to the independent non-film music that exists today. And I feel like a lot of, because of the OTT is exploding and the digital era, there are a lot of different stories being told. I think it all comes down to that also, right? So how does different kind of music get placed in different? It's about different kind of stories being told. So somebody will want a song like Hocus Pocus, which is not a mainstream pop song, but it's like a song which makes sense for that film. So similarly, for example, I'm making a song which might be great for another indie film. So, but they have to make that story to be able for this song. So it's a, I think it's like a confluence of different things coming together, and that is happening right now, which is a great thing for indie music and independent content that way. I feel so that's a great thing. I hope that there will be more that I can do in the future as well.
Okay, great. So, but do you plan for the future and your music now, or you believe in let it just happen? Let's see. अब मुझे लगता है
So
पहले
now
गानों
this
में सोच सोच अलग होगी, अब के गानों में सोच अलग होगी ना?
अब थोड़ा सोचना है सर, like I said, now I plan a little bit, or not so much, but a little bit toward to the extent of becoming more organized about this thing, because that I was not before. That again happens once you have some sort of a career gets established, then you have to show up for the audience that is sitting there waiting for your next song. So it's about that as well. And at the same time, like I said, I'm so excited about exploring different directions sonically, Abhi. So I want to go into different kinds of music and uh, see where that takes me, because I am not just this as an artist. There's so much more, and I want to kind of express more. This gives me that little bit of a push that okay, yeah, you know what, just go for it and see what happens. So I am planning not so much, but yeah, I'm just getting a little organized about it. And then there are some partners and everything that come along as you progress in your career, who tell you, chalo, now you have to do your next song. So it's not just you and yourself alone. So I am a mix of not so much planning, but planning also. Like not overthinking the music for sure. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing what I feel like. But how to do it is like a little bit of a thought process that's going behind it.
वो पहले नहीं चलता था ना, पहले इतनी चीजें सोचने के लिए नहीं थी, सिर्फ अपना म्यूजिक कर रहे थे जो हमको नाउ दैट यू कम टू नो गेट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड टू द होल पेरिफेरिया ऑफ के ऐसे होता है, ऐसे होता है, ऐसे होता है, देयर आर मोर थिंग्स टू थिंक अबाउट। और डर ये हो जाता है कि गाना करने से पहले हम वो सोचना शुरू कर देते हैं, तो पहले गाना बनाना चाहिए फिर उसके बारे में उसको ऐसे
I know, sir. The
हाँ
moment I try not to get into that trap, sir. I'm only always and always all about the song first. अगर गाना बुरा है तो फिर सब कुछ हो जाएगा.
करेक्ट 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 करेक्ट। ओके, नाउ सी द लोड्स ऑफ कितने सारे फीमेल फोक कंटेंट हैं, जो टैलेंट है अपनी कंट्री में, दिस फीमेल आर्टिस्ट, ये सब को हम मेन स्ट्रीम में कैसे लेके आए? हाउ डिड यू मैनेज टू डू दैट, राइट? स्टिकिंग टू योर कल्चर, ऑल दैट, in spite of not staying there, you still got connected back to your culture. You were lucky enough to feel the vibration and pick up those things. But there's so many female folk talent artists. इसको mainstream में कैसे लाया जा सकता? What do you think?
So I feel like it's a question of doing the right kind of music first. Like आप जो कर रहे हैं उसमें कितना intention है, वो कितना real है, वो कितना लोगों तक पहुंच सकता है. Music उसके अलावा performance wise मुझे लगता है, because if you talk about folk as a whole genre, it's got a lot of relatability, because it's people's music, everybody loves it. But at the level of literally ground level, abhi to obviously this is COVID time and everything, but there have to be performance centers that are dedicated towards a certain kind of music that cultivates its audience for real. I'm talking about people who do folk in a very purist way, which is essentially that they don't want to deviate from that. It's a choice at the end of the day, right, sir? Then when I started doing folk, I'm essentially making pop music with folk influence. That's the kind of artist that I am. I am paying tribute to my culture, but I'm also very pop in my sound, in my whole image, in who I am as an artist and how I think and whatever I'll do next. Some people don't want to do that, right? They want to have, and I will go in more of that direction as I go along as well, because that will make me, that's what will excite me right now also. But some people don't want to do that. So, uske liye, the right kind of festivals, the right kind of performance centers, the right kind of audience building. Also, digital is a big space right now, sir. I feel like everybody listens to everything. So more people have to put out their music and they have to just be brave enough to. Sometimes we don't even come out and do
Yeah,
things because we just overthinking it so much, वो अपने माइंड में इतना बड़ा बना दिया होता है कि अच्छा ये कैसे करना है वो कैसे करना है तो लाइक आई सेड इतना थिंकिंग नहीं होना चाहिए शुरू में करते जाओ थिंकिंग करना ही पड़ेगा बाद में पहले मत
वो
करो
वो वही बोल रहा हूँ, शुरू में नहीं होती वो थिंकिंग, वो सब नॉलेज नहीं होता, वो बाद में जाके सब पता चलता है तो ऐसा लगता है, देन यू स्टार्ट गोइंग
अच्छा
द रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन। पहले करेंगे कैसे, अरे गाना तो बना लो पहले, फिर करो पहले, सो ध्यान बढ़ जाता है ना वैसे।
राइट
एंड
सर
लैंग्वेज इज नॉट अ बैरियर, अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं है, सीधे सीधे सॉन्ग लाइक दी दैट वाज लाइक अ नॉट अ आई मीन लाइक nobody understood that language, right?
एब्सोल्युटली
Khalid,
सर
Khalid Wala. Your everybody would not understand, but still music और कैसे वो ढाया जाता है, it's something from the heart ना, वो
राइट सर
correct बैठता ही है, बैठते वो किसी को भी समझ में आ जाता है. There's so many songs which we don't know the language, but it catches on, right? Connects.
राइट सर
So you managed to do that with your culture and everything. So I think you're blessed.
थैंक यू सर थैंक यू सो मच सो काइंड ऑफ यू थैंक यू सर
And uh, okay, is women empowerment in music only limited to creating better content, or should it always be business and legal aspects also? Matlab, what do
I
you
feel
think
like
about this?
Sir, I feel like women empowerment is an internal thing. It has to be it's within you first of all, and a lot of women who actually do what they do, they also do it against all odds. I think a lot of women, most of the times, us, whether you have some support, no support, little support, it's the function of who we are as people that, we will have to
Mm.
work harder on everything, that we do in life. And this is something that we just have to live with. And this is something this we have to take it for granted that, as a woman, nobody is going to hand you anything. People are going to doubt you doubly, then they will doubt a man. They will always not take you seriously until you prove yourself multiple times. And all this will happen, but at the same time, this is women have to feel it internally that that they are enough. That's the only thing that matters, and that's what I kind of believe. Every day I tell myself that I am enough. If I don't have anyone, rallying around me for my music, I'm still going to be enough. That is very important. So sometimes, say for example, you'll go to sign a contract and somebody will actually, and this has happened with me personally as well. That there's a lot of mansplaining that actually happens. They do think that just sign it. Now. Why do you want to talk about this? Because it's industry rules, it's industry norms, it's standard. These things are thrown at you like left, right, and center.
Uh, uh,
But you have to be a little bit more prepared with what you're going to do. There is a way to do those things. There are lawyers. There are all of that is in place today. So you have to utilize those things, or else you have to figure it out yourself. And I did a lot of that homework myself. I always try to understand what I'm talking about to the lawyer to be able to like have that discussion to know कि भाई मैं क्या बात कर रही हूँ. So these things are very important because they somehow take it for granted that you wouldn't know. And this is the conditioning. It's not a question of contract or legal or this and that. This is just a conditioning that they haven't
mm,
seen so many women in this business. Say, for example, like if I am a woman in the music business today, also like as a somebody who has a record label, they will not have seen so many women who have who are in the business of music as well. So they don't take you seriously in the first. Right? You can't. I think it's a question of time. We will more of us have to do this and more of us have to be around and more of us have to do our thing and we have to know what we're talking about and at some point it will stop but if it doesn't also I think all women have to know that they are enough they don't shouldn't seek validation from anybody I think at least I don't do that and more women supporting other women that's the only thing that I think is very very important artists also women artists supporting other women artists that's very important I feel it's a because it's a smaller community it needs all the love that it can get so those things are very important I think it will all. I really pray for the day when it doesn't come down to this, where we have to talk about women artists separately itself. I wish it was just
No, no,
a
but
cash.
see, change are hai. First of all, if you see in the music industry, pehle, there were few names, females doing writing lyrics, female composers, है ना? Singers होते थे, but फिर भी compared to all the fields, job fields, जितने भी है उसमें ज्यादा male oriented होता था. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing a major difference now, and I'm starting this with you. I'm sure I'm going to hit a century onto this with women composers, writers, artists.
Yay! That needs
I'm
to happen.
no, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so good, and some people have the support from their family as strongly as you had. Some people might have parents or brothers, sisters, siblings being protective and not pushing them totally into the line, to be able to do that. So the सबके scenario अलग अलग होते हैं. But I think you were damn lucky to have that kind of a support system. And now your husband understanding how to do that. And what you spoke about, a lawyer telling you, okay, it's fine, you sign it and all that. I think this is their job. It's not being a woman also. मेरे हिसाब से हम लोग के साथ में भी अभी भी होता है कि अरे it's fine, But क्या हो रहा है? As years go by, we also start reading contracts. We also start getting the knowledge of it and all that. And we want to know what we are signing. We want to know what we are giving. There are so many aspects to it. So I think it's good that हम लोग थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट ले रहे हैं हमारी चीजों में यार. तो अच्छी बात है कि हम लोग को
Yeah, but
नॉलेज
I
आ
think
रहा है
like
कर करके.
we support. This is what I believe very genuinely about support, sir. I think support anybody can get, cannot also get. That's one part of the whole equation. But I think you have to really have support yourself, because nobody can support somebody who doesn't support their own selves enough. And
Exactly.
sometimes it's a question of not support. It's a question of them knowing that this is what it is. It's not. It should be like any other career. The whole taboo or the whole thing about women going into the music business itself shouldn't be. Then it's also a question of how do you handle yourself. Like I have gone and I have done concerts in the middle of Meerut. I have traveled, lengths and breadths of this country, sometimes going to, remote places in Rajasthan, somewhere to perform. But I guess I know how to handle myself as a woman. That's very important, right?
Yeah.
Then I guess nobody else has to worry so much. So you have to be stronger yourself. That's also very important. Protectiveness will come, but you don't have to have the need of that. Women are not, they don't always need protection, sir. It's possible that you can handle yourself. Is the
Yeah.
possibility that
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
you know that you know what you're doing, and you know that what to do, what not to do, where to draw a line, where not to do. Those are things that you have to know yourself. So I think we have to grow. We have to grow up our girls to be stronger than the boys. That's the problem in our
Exactly.
country. Their upbringing में लड़कियों को ओवर प्रोटेक्ट कर देते हैं, लड़कों को बहुत ही खुला छोड़ देते हैं. It should be the other way, because we have to go out in the world
It,
and
it
protect
it
ourselves.
it all starts. Yeah. It all starts here. You have to have hold yourself. सामने वाला आपके रिएक्शन से ही सामने वाला फायदा उठाता है या gets a gap in overpowering you or whatever. I think it's on how you manage yourself and be powerful in your head and be clear about it. I think so.
Yeah,
Right?
I also learned that with time, sir. I used to get overwhelmed a lot when I was younger, when I was just started. I used to take it upon myself rather than the other person, and how they were behaving towards me. So I realized that this is not internal to outside, it's external, it's from inside to outside. So you have to really know what you're doing. So this took some time for me to understand, but and this is not just limited to the music industry, because I have been in the corporate world as well. So it's not that in music industry where women are not supposedly treated the best way or whatever. It's across the board. You have to fight for a seat. It took a long time for us to find a seat at the table. So now we have to, make sure that we are holding on to it, and like a lot of women before me, before us, they've really had the real fights. उनको सच्ची के struggles देखने पड़े. This is not this level. तो अभी होता है.
Okay, now this initiative, this IPRS initiative, which is called #HerMusic, with Dolby India and Artist Aloud. What message would you want to give from your side to the other female artists? Let them be a singer, lyricist, or composer. What is the kind of your experience? What it teaches you? What would you like to tell them?
I'd like to say that just get better at what you do every single day and be dedicated to your craft and be aware of the fact that your voice counts as a woman, and it also holds a lot of responsibility. It also holds a lot of merit. It means a lot, and most importantly, every woman artist has to understand that they have to believe that they are enough. Whatever they're doing is enough, and they don't have to really keep seeking a lot of external validation. That's very important because it's something that we get stuck in, and I'm also a work in progress. I'm trying to get out of that, but this is something that I have believed in, and at the same time, make yourself internally strong because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tougher for you, and make yourself ready to work harder than a man because you will have to work harder than a man because you're a woman. And your life is such. You come with, your
More
whole
power.
cycle of life. You will have a lot of superpowers. So you also have I believe I have a lot of superpowers because I'm a mom now. But to get to that superpower, that goddess level, it takes that you'll churn lot of बहुत उसमें से गुजरना पड़ता है और वो होगा और उसको होने दो और उसमें उसको enjoy करो उसको उस experience को लो and उससे बहुत सीखो और keep getting up every day with determination to do better. And yeah, just believe.
That's one thing. Believe in yourselves. That's the most important thing, right?
That'll happen.
Thank you, Abha, and
Thank you, sir.
it's been great. Like I told you, आपका music सुन के जब मैंने पहली बार सुना तो it took me back to like I said, friends' house where हम लोग school time से उनके पास जाते थे. उनकी मम्मी गाती थी, सुषमा दीदी और अशोक पंडित जी, उनकी sister अशोक पंडित. So I have been around with this genre of music, this culture. So आपका music सुन के it took me back to those days and remembering everybody. And it was so nice for somebody to have the confidence of just going there and doing your own earthiness. This is what I am, to take it. In spite of you being out of Kashmir for so long, and I just got to know that now, you'd been there for some time, and like I said, it called you. There was a call for you to take that thing and do it.
Thanks.
You're blessed. That's one thing
Thank you so
I
much.
can tell you, and doing some
Thank you,
great
sir.
jobs.
I'm blessed
And
for
waiting for
having
your
this conversation with someone like you, sir. It's just been such a great experience, and
it was a pleasure.
you're so kind, and you've been so nice to me throughout this conversation, and it's been such a joy to share everything with you. So thank you for first of all having me on this. It's a huge honor to share the screen with you. I hope we meet in person sometime.
Yeah. No, aren't we meeting? We're doing a song together. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah, we're doing the song together. Yeah. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
Let's.
Inshallah. Fast.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so
We'll do
much,
it
sir.
fast. Soon. Yeah. And thank you for coming here and giving your insights about what the other people can do and should do. Thank you and all the best, Abha.
Thank you, sir. It's been such a joy.
We should
Seriously,
connect.
I really
See you.
enjoyed talking to you. Thank you, sir. Thank
All
you so much.
right.